All right. So, as you can see here, I prepped my tier 2 plot of land. Tried to put all the units into a corner as far away from uh, my fuel and element sites. And I'm going to talk through like how efficiency works and how to make this plot of land to be like the most efficient as possible. So we're looking at the power stations to bring down or to bring up efficiency, and the paths to bring down the time it takes for your fuel and elements to produce, along with just building new structures. So for most plots of land outside of tier 4 that has a fuel landmark, you're going to be aiming for 150% efficiency on your fuel and element, actually really on everything, but your top priority is going to be fuel first. So actually, before I even get in here, so this isn't the only plot of land I have. I have 4 plots. Actually, I have 5, but I have my brother playing one, a tier 2. So to show that I kind of know what I'm talking about, this is my tier 3. Yeah, what's up, Ricky Tan? All right. So this is my tier 3. I already made this one as efficient as possible. So I basically just want to show you what I'm working with before I go back to that tier 2. So as you can see here, I even go into my activities. The 10% reduced time for everything across the board, I have everything down 10%. So every fuel and element producing site is touching some path. And then if you look across the board, I actually have some that are 200% because that's because I have the what is this called? The halogenic geode landmark, which gives me increased efficiency on my silicone producers. What's actually very interesting about my land is I actually don't have any silicone sites. So all of my silicon is coming from converters. But anyways, I just wanted to show you how efficiently I built this one. So when we go through the tier 2, it's not like I'm making things up on the spot. I've already worked this land. I've tweaked so many little things to get it as efficient as possible. And I really had been neglecting my other plots of land. But now is when I want to get this this tier 2 Crimson Wasteland going. Oh, I gotta like increase my screen size so I can see this. Why no paths for your power plants in the top left? Are you talking about for in Taiga Boreal? Oh yeah, I don't have the path touching everything. I just have it touching the converter, and I have it touching the Solon dredge. But you really don't need it to touch every little thing, especially the power stations. Like, all it's going to do for the power station is give you that a shorter time when you go to upgrade them, but you don't really need to do that. And if you already have the 10% bonus, I'm pretty sure that's the max. So you don't really need to touch any more structures to your paths. So really, it just seems like a waste of space to make sure every little thing is touching. But as long as you have your converters and your extractors touching the paths, that's the most important thing. Even like when I come over here, I do have paths touching most of these storages, so I can upgrade them with a quicker time. But like I have one over here. Unless I'm upgrading it, I don't really need this touching a path. And what I would do is I'll just switch these two. When I go to upgrade this one, I'll just switch these two out. But really, Illuvium Zero is about being as efficient as possible. Again, that's why I wanted to do this live stream just about Illuvium Zero. So where are we? Crimson Waste. Taylor, what's up? Let's see. Oh, $2 Canadian. Thank you very much, Ricky Tan. I appreciate that. I think that's like my third, whatever you call that, donation ever. Peer character doing a shake a sign. What? Oh, that must be some kind of emoji, but it's not showing me the emoji. All right, so let's get into what I was doing here. So I actually prepped this hours ago, so I hope you guys appreciate that I've sacrificed some of my building time and efficiency so I could get this everything ready to move out of the way. And now that I'm here, I'm even going to move the last few little pieces out of the way. And we'll start sort of fresh. And by the way, I'm playing this on my iPad. Even though I could play it on my computer. It's weird. I'm playing it on my iPad and streaming it to my computer. But I just like the iPad so much better. Let's see. Move this one. And we'll move this one. And we'll look at efficiency. It's an emoji. Yeah. James Bond. Hello. Young. Thank you very much. 36 years young. I hope I look younger than that. I try. Okay. So this is a tier 2 plot. Here's what I'm working with. For fuel, I have 2 Hyperion extractors, 1 Solon extractor. So not ideal. If you have a tier 2 plot and you have 3 fuel sites, ideally you want 1 of each, but it's not the end of the world. For element sites, I have... Actually, I think I can bring these up, right? Resource. It just makes it harder to see. So, I have 2... I got rid of the wrong one. So I have 2 Hyperion sites. I have, let's see, 3... Oh yeah, 3 mines. I actually have 1 hidden way back up here. So 3 mines producing silicon and 1 producing carbon. So at least I have at least 1 of each of those, even though that's not quite balanced either. But realistically, like if you have a plot of land, there's a very low chance that you have a very balanced plot. Like if you could somehow have 1 of each fuel site and 2 of each element site, then like you're golden. But most people don't have that. Okay. So another thing to note. Your fuel converters. So this is a fuel converter here. If I move this, you can see it doesn't really have much of an interaction with a fuel site that is of a different fuel site. So same here. Same here. I don't have a Krypton fuel site, so it almost doesn't matter where I put this. Now let's look at a Solon converter. So now if I move this, again, nothing for the 2 Hyperion sites, but it does get increased efficiency from the actual Solon site. And then, same with my Hyperion converters. So you can see I get the increased efficiency next to both of the Hyperion sites, but nowhere else. So this was actually a question that was asked when I post um, my tier 3 region, because I had 3 Hyperion sites and I also had 3 Hyperion converters. And someone asked me why I had so many Hyperion converters. Because clearly I don't need to convert to Hyperion because I have so many of the fuel sites. But the reason is I'm taking what the land is giving me, if you think about it that way. So I could probably get an extra converter or two on my plot of land because I made those Hyperion ones, because I'm able to get more efficiency out of them because I have the Hyperion fuel sites, if that makes sense. Um, so if you're just looking at this and you're just like, oh, 2 Hyperion sites, 1 Solon site, all I really want is Krypton converters. Well, you're not getting the most out of your land if that's what you're doing. So you really just want to figure out what your land has to produce the most fuel, and then from there, I would actually focus your storage based on what your land is providing you. And for right now, if you try to sell on the fuel exchange, I know a lot of people are having problems with that, but your right now Krypton is the most I guess the highest value out of the 3. So even if you made it so you're producing a lot more Hyperion, all you need to do is increase your storage for Hyperion, and then as you're able to convert it over to Krypton, then sell the Krypton off to the market. Any word on when minting will be available? What minting? Like blueprint minting? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. There's not any land sales mints planned like anymore at this point. There's 20,000 plots out there, and that's all that there's going to be for the time being. At some point, there will likely be more, but probably not anytime soon. Okay, so blueprints. I haven't heard about when blueprints are going to be ready to go. I think they said originally they were saying, what were they saying? Within the first 3 months of open beta, and considering we're only about 2.5 weeks in, I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. But it's not like it's like far down the road. Like in the next month or two, maybe we get it. Okay, so what I have on my land here, I kind of wish I had more of these converters to show you how to really get the most out of it. But I have 2 Krypton converters, 2 Solon converters, and 1 Hyperion. So here's the best thing to look at first. So if you're looking at these 2 Hyperion converters, they work against each other for efficiency. So you considering I have one, sorry, did I say Hyperion? Solon converters. Considering I have 1 Solon site, I need to get these 2 converters as close to this Solon site so they take advantage of the bonus from the site, but they don't take away from each other. So let's see what we can do here. So we want to get it within this green. All right, so let's just say, for example, I put it really close, and I get 110. I could take this, and maybe I'm over here where it's not really, and you can actually see how this one right here interacts. When I get a certain amount closer, they start taking away from each other. So you're probably looking, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blocks away. Once you get closer than that, they're hurting each other. So what I want to do is I actually want to pull this one a little further away. Let's say here. And then I can move this one a little closer. But also keep in mind of the spaces. You don't really need one block of space between these two, because what are you going to put there other than a path? Ideally, you want maybe 2 blocks so you could fit a power station in there. So again, I'm going to move this probably 1 spot away. And then I can move this one 1 spot closer. So now they're not, both of them are getting the extra efficiency from the Solon site, but they're not taking away from each other because they're that, like I said, probably 7 to 8 blocks away from each other. And again, if I were to move this in, you'd see how they both drop in efficiency. So there you go. And when you're doing this, you always want to start with the fuel converters. Don't worry about the other things. Get the highest percentage for your fuel, and then move on to your elements. All right. So now let's go. So this is the 2 Krypton converters I have. And like I said, they don't get any increased boost anywhere on this plot of land because I don't have any Krypton fuel sites. So these are going to be the last ones I worry about. Next, I'm going to look at this one. So this is a Hyperion converter. And as I build out these lands, like the next 2 converters that I get are probably going to be more Hyperion converters. Because like I said, you want to play to what the land is giving you. So because I could go next to this Hyperion site or this Hyperion site, I'm able to fit more of these on my land still with that highest efficiency. And so knowing that I want to do that, I don't want to just throw it right next to the site here. I want to put it a little away from the site, so then the next one I get, I can put, say, on this side. Now this green's a little skewed because I have power stations here on the left. But that might be a good spot, and I can always adjust it after. Actually, we'll go on this side. Just, all right. And then you want to take these and kind of work around it. So again, you don't want to get too close to other converters because it hurts those converters. You really want to find the best spot that you could probably put it. So this is enough out of the way. But I don't just want to throw it on the complete other side of the map because I'm also going to get all my power stations in here that is going to help it. And then let's see what I can do with this one. Again, kind of take what it gives you. I'm going to want to put another Hyperion one somewhere either around here or around here. So I can just fit this somewhere in there. Would it be better to upgrade 1 converter instead of having 2? I mean, I think more about the end game, and I'd rather have as many converters as possible. So if you could fit them on your land with enough efficiency to at least convert 1 to 1, then I would have the extra converters. Like say you get to a point where you could add another converter, but you're only going to get like 90% out of it, and it's you're converting at a loss. then I would just take another converter and upgrade it. But if you could fit 3 converters, say at a stage 1, um, with a good efficiency, then I would put all 3 converters and then just slowly upgrade them over time. If that makes sense. So again, this obviously I'm only on Nexus level 7 here. So, and I'm still building this one out. I actually wanted to kind of do what I'm doing now to make it as efficient as possible before I had too many structures on my land. But I'm probably done making Krypton converters, and I'm probably done making Solon converters. I'm probably going to make at least 2, maybe 3 more of these Hyperion converters. All right. So the one thing you can't forget about when you're doing all of this is your paths. You want to make sure your paths touch all of these units. So, in a lot of this is trial and error. Like, I'm going to try to put the paths down now, but I'm likely going to have to change those around. But you kind of need to put something in place the best you can and then make adjustments as you go. Same with these converters. Like, I might end up shifting them the way the paths run. But let's try to get some paths in here. So I want it to touch all 3. And you don't even need to wrap around it. Just need to touch in one spot. So I know this might be tough to see. But this Solon converter is actually an extra block up. These are 2x2s. The converter is 2x3. So if I put, where is it here? Just oh, I almost forgot. There's the Hyperion converter right there. This is actually tough. Like, I have 3 sites that are right on top of each other. Where, fortunately, it's not 3 fuel sites, but really, the more your sites are spread out, the better you can work your land. And that's something I wish I knew earlier on, because I would have maybe traded out some land to get something that's more balanced, but also more spread out. All right, so I actually want paths to touch all of these. So maybe I come out like this. You also don't want to cover all around it, because you're going to want to put your power stations as close to these as possible. So especially when you have like these 2 Krypton sites or converters, I don't have the Krypton's fuel extractor, so I don't want to cover up too much of the space with paths here. And I want to get some paths onto this one. How many builders do I have? On my tier 2 land, I just bought the one extra. So I have, on my tier 3, I bought 2 extra, which was definitely needed. So I have basically 3 running my tier 3 land, 2 running my tier 2 land, and I did buy an additional one for my tier 1 lands, which I'm not able to take full advantage of because I just can't produce fuel quick enough. But I do have 2 builders on this land. All right. So again, I'm probably going to make some adjustments to these at some point, but it's good to get something going. You really want to make as many connecting as possible. I'm going to come up this way. Hmm. All right. So there's just a base for my my paths here. So now we're going to start building around this one. So let's get some of the converters, the element converters in there before I start throwing the power stations in there. Let's see. I'm on level 141 with 2 builders. Yeah. I got 164 here. I'm pretty sure they max out at 201. That's where my tier 3 maxed out at. All right. And also, when you're trying to build out your land for efficiency, don't worry about the structures that don't have efficiency, basically. So you don't need to worry about your nexus, where are all these other ones? Your storage, your workshop, and your quantum fabricant. Fill those in later. So I know at first I was just like, oh, I want to put them all near each other in like a central spot or all in the same corner, just so it looked good. It's a little OCD thing, I guess. But you're better off just making sure it's as efficient as possible and then filling those in later. All right. So now, similar with my element converters, these are going to do better next to the elements that produces that. So I have 3 that are producing Hyperion and 2 Hyperion sites. So I'm going to need to get these as close to those Hyperion sites as possible. Now again, don't look at the green all on the top left because that's efficiency because of the power stations. I want to fill it in over here on the right. So we're going to want to throw one. I want to keep it in the green as possible. You can see from here I go from a 106 out to a 92. And I can always make adjustments to these after. So let's get this one in here. Maybe something around there for now. And this one. See, I actually put that path in like the perfect spot. Because see these two? If I were to get one step closer, they start hurting each other. So I want to keep that perfect distance. So I'm going to put that one in there. Then I have my silicone converter. So I have 3 silicon sites, here on the top left or top right, kind of middle left, and then I have one hidden way up here. So this I'm really not too worried about. I have so many different options for that. So for now, I'm just going to kind of throw it out of the way, I guess. So put it there. And then I have, let's see, 2 of the carbon ones. And I only have 1 carbon site. And kind of what I was saying before, you're going to need to make adjustments as you go. So now that I know I only have this 1 carbon site and I need to fit it in here, I'm going to need to move out one of these Hyperion sites to fit it. So let's move this one out for now. Let's try to get this one somewhere in here. Okay, so this one I can get a little closer without it being disrupted from the other ones. So right there looks like a good spot. Let's try to get this one in here. Not very good spots for this, but I just want to make sure I'm staying out of that yellow zone. So let's go in there for now. And then this last one. Again, no real good areas for that, so we'll just throw it somewhere out of the way. Everything is still touching, I believe. All right. There we go. Let's see. Do you plan on selling your fuel only when your land is maxed out? No, because you get to a point where you can't keep up your storage with the amount of fuel you're producing. And like I keep saying, fuel efficiency is the most important thing. But also, when you're leveling up everything, anything that produces fuel or converts fuel should be a priority as well. Like as soon as you can upgrade a fuel producing site, do it. But yeah, you'll get to a point where you're producing more fuel than you need, and then you're starting to cap out whatever you have for storage. So then, I've already started selling on my tier 3 land. I haven't sold anything from my other lands yet because I'm not to that point yet. I still need the fuel that I'm producing, but I have started selling it on my tier 3. All right. So now you can see all on this top left, other than my fuel site here, everything else is not a converter or a site. So now I can start taking these power stations and filling them in. Now I have some power stations that are up in level 5, and then other ones that are probably still level 1, level 2. So I'll start with the level 5s just because I want to get them close so I can have these enough power going on here. So if I switch over to power for a second, you can see that a lot of these don't have enough power. And when I bring over one of these, probably need more in that area. But if I were to bring it over to here, all of a sudden I get the power on this one. And then I can just fill more around. You can also see the efficiency. So I went from 100 and 100. I bring this down in here, and then I get 110, 104. So I'm just going to start filling these in. I don't need that on. And again, the first priority is always to get to that 150% in your fuel sites, then 150% in your fuel converters, and then fill in the rest from there. Oops. Okay. Okay, so I get that site 150. Let's move to this area. I got any level 5s? So I want to fit them in these spots. And if I fit all these power stations in there and I don't have these two fuel sites at 150%, then I need to go back to the drawing board and move some stuff around. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I have that one touching a path. So, okay, let's move this over here then. So this one is touching, that one's not. So let's go. Maybe like that. Since I only need one little piece touching, I might want to move that out of the way. So maybe I go something like that. Okay, so now all of these are touching. They're all get that minus 3%, but you'll see as I put more structures on the paths, that will go up. Like I said, on my tier 3, I already have it at the minus 10%. I think before I kind of moved all this around, I had this one at minus 6 or 7%. So let's get back into filling in some of these. I just want to look at your squares here. So like I could put this here, but I might as well throw it in that corner. It's kind of tough. I might need to move things around over here to make that fit better. But also look at what you're doing. So if I move this here, it doesn't really increase anything. It only decreases them. So I might as well keep it there. Obviously, I save this little spot in here. Hit that. All right, so now we have the Krypton site. No, the Solon site, sorry, at 150%. Let's make sure we can get this to 150%. All right. One more will do it. But since it's so close, I don't need to put it there now. I can start working at the other ones. These are going to be the two tough ones to get to 150%. Because you really need to load it up. All right, see, that one went to 150. And again, with these paths, make adjustments. So I can see, because of the space I have here, and I want to fill more around there, I have this one lane of space down here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'll take my paths, create a new path here so it's connected, and then I can actually just get rid of all of those. And then I can move this closer to fit another one in. And then the same here. So now, like, I made those paths, but I don't really need those there anymore. Paths, get rid of those. And then maybe coming straight through here. Now they're all connected again. I'm up to 4%. They definitely need to add a builder mode. They need to add a builder mode. You can add additional builders. You start your plot with one, and you can add up to two more. It costs credits, but you can do that. What's up, two noobs? So now we're just throwing a ton of these in here, especially around these converters, because we need to boost them up as much as possible. So it's already getting close to 150%. I'm running out of power stations. So that's up to 138. Let's make sure we fit some over here. All right. So I used up all the power stations I have, but if I were to go in here, I can build up to 102 structures, and I only have 76 right here. So I can, I mean, actually, I could just build a couple more right now because I have free builders. So now I know where I want to throw them. So I want to throw a couple more around this to get this up to 150. I'm going to need to throw a couple more. I got plenty of space here. Then I'm going to need to throw something up in this area to get this one. I do have one there. And even down here, I can see the converter, the two converters I have are still only at not 150%. So I need to work on those. And I wonder, now that let's get one of these building. Okay, so if I move this one in here, it's probably going to negatively affect the top one. But what if I... Alright, it's not a good move. Okay, so I can move that in there. So paths minus those. Fit this in there. And then now I just need to connect this path to this path somehow. I probably don't even need this anymore. And then I will go... Alright. I don't really like doing the, having a little square like that, but I need it to touch my Solon, extractor there. So for now, we'll leave it. And so outside of this one up here, all of these should have the same, they should be touching the path. So minus 5% now. The easy way to figure that out is you go to activity, production, and as I go down here, everything should have the minus 5 except for that one mine. And it does. Minus 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And then I'll run a connection up there at some point. Oh, let's see, what am I missing here? Yo, thank you, Thailand. Yes, Zero needs work, but I think Overworld should be the biggest focus and has the most potential. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think there's definitely going to be bigger upgrades. Like, this is not Zero. Illuvium Zero is definitely not at its final state. I think getting a more free-to-play version of Illuvium Zero is going to be really good because there's a lot of countries around the world that just don't have access to a computer that you can play the overworld. So I don't know exactly what this could turn into. There was talks before about something like a Clash of Clans or like a Mafia where you go and attack people. Recently, I've seen Kieran talk about land as a service. So like things that you need to, like, people come to your land in order to do certain things. Like, for example, re-rolling stats on an alluvial, or there's going to be training gyms built in where you can maybe lock up alluvials for a certain amount of time so they can gain experience. But I think whenever the free-to-play version really steps up and has more utility, because right now there is a free-to-play version, but like there's really not much of a utility to come in as a free-to-play player and play Illuvium Zero. So yeah, I think Overworld should be one of the top priorities. I also think, getting Illuvium Zero to a state where a free-to-play player, or not even a free-to-play player, but like a non-NFT landowner, or that doesn't really make sense. Someone who wants to play Illuvium Zero that doesn't own land, I think doing that should be up on the priority list as well. All right, so what else do I need to do here? Let's move a couple things out of the way. So I can get to this. I do have some extra converters over here. Let's move one down. Can't fit it in there. Sometimes I wish you got kind of like a higher up view. But anyways, let's put this in there. So you can see when I build out more power stations where I'm going to put them. I'm going to focus some around this area to get this converter up. This is going to be a tough one to get up, but I think if I fill in some of these gaps, I should be able to get that to 150. That will be an easy one. These ones should be pretty easy because I get so much space around them. And then this one's already 150. So this is already... I wish I took a screenshot of what this... Or I probably do have a screenshot somewhere. Of what this land looked like before I just reconfigured it. Because it already looks so much better and more efficient than I had it. So I would definitely recommend, if you... I mean, I guess even if you already have like 100 structures on your land, like, do what I just did here, because it's going to be worth it in the end when you can fit those extra converters with a higher efficiency. Because then your land is just going to be able to produce more. And that's one of the main utilities of owning land, is to produce as much fuel as possible. All right. So I do need paths to get up to this last one here. So let's just go out like this. Actually, I don't need that, so I'll go up here and across. All right, so now I have this one also have the 5% down. And then I really need to be building out more of these. Let's see, I can get 2 more building right now. Structure, power station. I also can't neglect this converter. So let's get some in here. All right, so now all of these storages, you really don't want to clump them up within the mess where you need efficiency. So the fact that I have this this like path that kind of has nothing going on around it is the perfect spot to just throw a bunch of these storage units. So I'm going to start doing that. And again, the only reason you're putting these on the path are, for one, to increase that your path bonus. But once you're at minus 10%, then you can start pulling these off of the paths, because you only really need them on the path then to when you want to upgrade them to save some time. So I'm going to keep that path bonus up so we can see where we're at. So still at 5%. I should move this on the path. And then you can see there. So just by adding those few more, now I'm at 6%. Let me look at the comments here. Let's see. Agreed. Not enough free to play aspects. Yeah. I think even over the past 6 months before open beta hit, there was more of a push to make free to play more of an option. With Gauntlet, like, you can go and play Gauntlet without paying for anything. And Gauntlet seems like it's going to be one of the main things right now to draw in new players. But I think extending that, like making free to play more of an option for Overworld and for Illuvium Zero, is going to be good. We say Overworld isn't fast enough. I hope they're working on a battle royale or a multiplayer shooter. So I heard this story at one point where there were some people on the team who wanted to kind of build something where it's a multiplayer battle royale kind of thing. So I think Kieran said, like, oh, if you want to just build something like that on your own time, like, just do it and we'll see if anything comes from it. So I guess there was some of the developers that on their own time built something where on Sanctum Mesa you can have multiple people in there and you can run around and shoot each other. So they already know that that's possible. There's already some internal build that allows that. So whenever, eventually they're gonna progress that, and I don't know when, but there's likely going to be some sort of multiplayer battle royale style game at some point in the Illuvium universe. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next one that comes. All right. So let's see. I should have those 2 power stations built. Let's build a couple more. Oh, I took off efficiency. Efficiency, structures, a couple more power stations. All right. Where is it? There it is. All right. So I really want to get this one up at that 150%. So where can I fit things? There. Let's work on this one. And then I still have some room over here to throw more on the paths. Hmm. The other thing that you want to consider is if you do have empty space, you if you plan on researching for biodata and doing the whole blueprints thing, you want to keep some extra space because those singularity scanners that search for the biodata, they're most efficient when they're away from other things. So this big clump in my top middle, I actually don't want to put anything there because those are where I want to put my converters. And even this bottom left corner, the fact that it's this bare, I kind of want to leave that as empty as possible so I can fit maybe one or two scanners in there. So the best place for all of these structures are going to be somewhere maybe in this bottom right corner or kind of just low in the middle of this map here. I actually, now that I'm looking at this, maybe I'll build out some more paths that come through here. Oops. Actually, that's not bad. And then I'll throw these on top of that. And then since I do need to fit more in here for that. Like I might be able to move this kind of just in here somewhere. See, now I'm down to the -8 in time. Shit. Okay. Crystal the Wall. Yo, yo, bro. Tell you about efficiency. You missed the whole talk on efficiency. The ice. So, if you are just tuning in now, I the last what am I at? I'm a little over the hour mark. The first 20 minutes of this stream was probably the most important part because that's where I went through and I showed how the different structures interact with each other and then how to think about building it out. Um, so yeah, if you're just tuning in now, whenever this is done, I would just swing back to the beginning of it and watch that part because right now I'm just filling it out. And again, I'm gonna have to look for a screenshot. I wish I took one how I had it set up before, but just by doing what I did here, like revamping this whole plot of land, I really picked up the efficiency. It looks so much better. Um, and I'm going to be able to produce more fuel out of this than before I did this. So if you're struggling with efficiency on your land, definitely check that out. Um, and if you are going to do this, it's really helpful if you do get to Nexus 7 because that's where you really open up your the amount of buildings you're able to put on your land. Like before you get to Nexus 7, you can't build enough power stations to get everything efficient, like to max efficiency. But once you get there, you have enough buildings. You just need to map everything out in the right way to be able to do it. Um, so yeah, so now I want to get my Nexus on the path somewhere. And again, I don't want to keep it up here because this is where I'm going to build out some singularity scanners. Down here might be a good spot for a singularity scanner, so I don't want it down there either. I could maybe move one of these around and throw it right in here. But I also want to make sure I'm getting enough power stations to get all of these to max first. So, since I don't have singularity scanners yet, I'm just going to put it right there for now. And then I'm going to keep, at this point, adding in more of these power stations. Let me just... Oh, I'm not being too efficient. Some of my fuel converters are done. So I wanted to do this one. I'll wait on it. This one's level 4, so let's click that. It's another 50 Solon, 50 Hyperion. Let's extract from those. All right. Let's see. What did I need? 2 more structures. All right. So what do we want to get? Let's try to get this Solon converter up. So it's at 140. So I could go here to make it 143. I could fit it in here for 143. 143. I'm actually wondering if I can move this converter over. Let's see. Let's put this building in a different spot for now. Okay. So let's move that. And see, now then when you start opening up the converters, you can adjust them more now that you have the other power stations in there. So now I don't even need to worry about this being too close. I can start pulling this really almost anywhere. So let's try that. And I wonder if I can move this. Okay, so this one's right actually on the cusp of where I can move it. So look at, let's see, this converter that says 132, this converter that says 144. If I move one spot here, I start affecting the efficiency on the right. If I go one spot up, I start affecting the efficiency there. So I really can't move that any closer. So that kind of needs to stay where it is. Could move it down a little bit, but probably not worth it. So that's going to stay there. Actually, maybe I do want to move it down. So let's try this. Move you. All right, so for now, that's good. Let's fit another converter in there. So when that's built, that'll go to 141. All right, let's see. It's a really unique IP. Being able to talk about it, about other Illuvium games and see them grow. Yeah. Let's see. Do you think it's a good idea just to concentrate on making fuel and not bothering for blueprints? Yeah. That's been my strategy so far. I can. Yeah. Let me swing back to my tier 3 and I'll just show you what's going on there. I got. Hold on. Let me get one more of these being built. All right. So let's throw that in there. Okay. So if I go over to my tier 3, this is my baby here. That tier 2 is like my almost afterthought compared to this one. Ooh. This one is so bright, switching from the other one. But as you can see here, like until I've built everything, all of my fuel extractors and converters, I'm not even worried about looking for blueprints or scanning. I have this available spot up here that I can fit. I don't even know, maybe 3. I'm thinking I can get 3 high efficiency scanners up there, but I'm not even there yet. And I'm to the point where I'm able to sell fuel. You can see my Hyperion. I'm making a lot more Hyperion than the other ones. But if I go to path bonus and efficiency, you can see I get the 10% for path bonus, and everything has that minus 10 efficiency. Or, I have something built. Yeah. So minus 10 on the time across the board for everything that's fuel producing. Let me see. I got to put something to upgrade. What do I want to do? The problem when you get in these tier 3 and I'm assuming tier 4 is like it's hard to keep track of everything here. Every once in a while I'll come to my land and I'll be like, oh, I forgot to, like, this extractor is not even doing anything. Not running. All right. What do I want to build? So I have this converter. This is going to be my first. Oh, no, it's not. I have some tier 5, stage 5 converters. I need to get those to 6. I usually have a plan for this. What was I going to do next? That one's going to go to a stage 6 extractor soon. All right. Well, I can't do anything with my fuel sites because they're all running. So until tomorrow morning for me, won't be able to do that. I'm not really having an issue with producing elements. I can produce quite a bit of them, so I don't need that. It could. Oof. Nope, not doing that one. I'm at the 9. Nexus 9. What is that one? And also for efficiency when you're building, like, it's getting late for me, so I want to build something that's going to take at least 8 to 12 hours to build, because I don't want it finishing in the middle of the night. Then I'm losing out on the efficiency of me building this, this land in the first place. Let's see. I might want to upgrade one of these. 7 hours. It might be that. So these next two are going to be done in 12 hours. I always got to think a little harder on this one because this is, like I said, this is my baby. All right, we'll do this one so I can wake up to a fresh builder. It'll be 7 hours. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the land we've been working on right now. All right, let me catch up on some of these comments here. What do you have? What are your hit rates been like for scanners? Like I just showed you, I don't have any scanners yet. I haven't built anything out. My goal is to max out my fuel. And once I have, I'm probably not until I get every single thing maxed out, but my focus is getting my fuel production and the converters maxed out before I really start looking for blueprints. So I'm not in any rush for that. Like, there'll be plenty of blueprints to go around. I just want to make sure I'm maxing out the fuel first. So eventually, I'll come on this stream with some singularity scanners, but haven't even done it yet. All right, let's see what we're doing here. So this is at 134 efficiency, so I still need to get some more power stations around there. These two are getting close to that 150, and I need to get this one up to 150. So let's throw a couple more around here right now. So that'll bring it from 135 to 139. And let's see. Put another one up here. All right, so that's 135. So I got to figure this out here because I feel like there's a little bit of kind of wasted space in here that if I do some adjusting, I might be able to fix. Actually, I have an idea. Ready? Let's just throw this one over here for now. All right, here's my idea. Let's get rid of these paths. Move this here. Build that path back. Then I can move that and I can fit another power station right in there. So then 136. So this one's still building, so it's already going to be higher than 136. So it should be higher than 141 as well. So we'll see when those are both built what it looks like. All right, let me see. How long do you think it'll take? How long do you think it will take different their land to generate enough resources to sufficiently support An active overworld player. That really depends on how active of an overworld player you are. Um, but what it seems like if you only own one tier one land and you want to go out into the overworld and do 3 to 5 stage 3 overworld runs, it's your tier one land is not going to support that. I think I mean your tier land kind of would almost kind of needs to match up with your overworld style. Like if you only have a tier 1, then you might need to, you know, in order for that to kind of support your overworld, you might need to focus on stage 1 overworld runs. Where if you have a tier 3 or tier 4 land, then maybe you can start looking at those stage 3 runs. So, and again, if you're just like one of those weekend warriors and you don't play overworld during the week, you're just doing Illuvium Zero during the week, then in the weekend you want to play, 5 to 10 runs, then I don't know. Everybody plays a different amount, so it's hard to say if one is going to be able to fund the other. We can finally upgrade the power stations too. What do you mean? We could always upgrade the power stations, which allows more power, but it doesn't increase the efficiency. At least not yet. I saw some talks in the Discord that could be an option at some point, and I hope it is, because really, the land just gets too clumped together when you need to throw so many power stations in there. So if increasing the power station increase the efficiency too, then we could increase a bunch of these and take out the rest. But for now, that's not the case. All right, so let's see, claim that. So now this one's up to 141, which is good. We're getting close to that 150. That's 145. Again, close to that 150. Same over here, close to those 150s. Well, might as well keep building them out. Where is it? Okay. Let's see, where can we go over here? So I'll go from 141 to 144. Oh, well, if I put this in here, then I get the 150 on that one. So I'll take it. And let's build another one. So that's 140. Throw this in here. I can get it to 143. All right. So this was interesting because I noticed this too. When I started playing, I was just like, my resource sites don't feel like they're in the same spot. But then I went to look at my the like the original mint image and like where they are on the map. What happened, and I don't know if this was on purpose or some kind of bug, but when we hit open beta, it mirrored your land, and it mirrored it in a weird way. Like it like flipped it one way and then flipped it the other way. It's hard to explain, but if you look, they're spread out in the same way that they originally were. It's just kind of mirrored and flipped around a couple times. Like, for example, over here, like this top one for me used to be down here. And then like this fuel site used to be up here. So I don't know how that happened, why that happened, but it didn't randomly. The sites didn't randomly get moved. It was some kind of like mirroring flipping thing. So X says that there's 385 people watching this. I'd really like to believe that, but it must be some kind of bots picking it up. Earlier there was only like 10 or 15. Now there's 385. But if you are real, head on over to YouTube and subscribe to that channel. Oh, and I should probably throw this in as a little plug there. Here, if you've been watching and you think this is going to help you and make you more efficient on your land to make you a higher return, then you might as well throw my creator code into your Illuvium account. So if you go to the settings, there's a spot for creator code. It's just Nijafe, exactly how it's spelled here, Nijafe. Put that in as a creator code, even if you're not making any purchases. It shows Illuvium that you guys like the content that I'm making, and that I'm helping you guys out. And if you do make any purchases, right now I'm at the tier where I think I might get like 3% of it. So it's not much, but it's something. Okay. Let's claim these two. Let's get a couple more power stations in here. All right. Let's go over here. We'll get that one up to 146. I don't like how it just pops in the middle of the screen and I can't even find it. There it is. So let's put this one here. Let's see what we get when that builds out. All right. 403 people on X. How many of you are bots? I'd like to think there's at least 20 real people. All right. All right, so I put this one in here. Finally get that 150 up here. And this is getting closer. Path bonus still at 8%. Okay, hold on, be right back. Okay, what do we have here? I just got my tier 3 to a path bonus of really okay. That is good to know because I get to mine to that 10%, and I thought that was the max, so I didn't really worry about getting too many more things onto my paths. But now that you say that, I'm gonna have to work on that. I wonder what the max is. Let's see. How necessary are these roads around certain buildings? They're very necessary. Very necessary for at least your fuel producing structures. So your fuel extractors and your fuel converters. You want those touching paths, and you want. I thought 10% was the max, but apparently you can go higher than that because this is let's say 10% was that max. So when you upgrade your fuel extractors all the way, it takes 24 hours to extract some fuel. But if you have the minus 10%, then you're taking 10% off of that extraction time. So you go from 24 hours down to like 21.6 hours. So then that's just another form of increasing your efficiency. So you want the path bonus as high as possible. But ideally you want to go into, say, activities, production, and you want to see that across the board. So you see all of mine have that 8%. Just touching. Nope. I mean, yeah, just touching. Doesn't need to be wrapped around at all. Just one little touch. So you can see, I think I even have it like here. I know it's kind of tough to see in there, but see this structure here? There's only that one, the path just ends right on that structure, and I still get that 8%. So you don't need to wrap it, it just needs to touch. And all of your paths need to be connected. So if I were to like break the path, then I break those percentages. So let me show you here. So I go paths and I break it, say here, then see how it goes from 7% over there and 2% there. So you want it all connected. Yeah, no problem. And like I said, I think Robotic Justice, I think you were here earlier in the stream, but like if you missed the first 20 to 30 minutes of this, I really kind of talk about how everything interacts with each other. So that's definitely going to be a good thing to go back and watch. And I'm probably even going to take this stream and maybe the first 20 to 30 minutes and trim it up a little bit and maybe put it out as a separate video. Let's see. So we're really getting close to that max efficiency here. So for the fuel sites, 147, 145, 146. So we're getting close. Now I wanted to see if I threw in another converter. I said I should be able to fit some more Hyperion converters. So now I'd like to be able to fit another one of these in here. I don't want to come up here because it's going to affect the other ones that I have. I could fit it back here. Just enough space to not affect anything. Or I could fit it somewhere in here. But I'm going to have to get to a path to it. But I do like getting this one in here. So I think I can make that work. So we'll put that in there. Let's move this to here. And I can go paths. Okay. So now I'm going to get another converter in there. And I think I could actually get another converter up here as well. Yeah, so I'm real glad I did this. I was gonna do this anyways, so like I might as well just stream doing it. But I'm telling you, I'll try to post on X a screenshot if I can find one of how this looked before I just fixed it all up, and it's so much more efficient now than it was before. So I highly recommend you follow through on this video and make yours as efficient as possible. Okay. So now let's throw another power station. Now we want to get this one up there too. All right. Actually, let me swing back to a couple of my tier ones. You can see how pathetic my tier ones are looking. Once I get to that Nexus level 7, I'll probably do the same with these ones. This one is a very interesting plot I have here because everything is bundled up over here on the right side. So I'm going to be able to put a ton of scanners all over here. This is probably the prettiest looking land too. Yeah, so this one's going to be cool. I'm pretty excited about this one being like really scanner blueprint focused. And that's what's great about having multiple plots of land. Like I won't even switch out yet. I'll put scanners on my tier 3 where I think they will fit. But that tier 3 is going to be a fuel producing focus, where this one is going to be a blueprint focus. All right. Let's just get something building. So the last one that I haven't shown yet is this Abyssal Basin. Let's see. Is there an airdrop for Illuvium Zero? Yeah. So you can get airdrop points by playing Illuvium Zero, even if you're a free to play player. So, I mean, if you're only playing Illuvium Zero and just getting those daily airdrop points, it's honestly probably not going to get you too much. But if you're playing the other games and you want to throw Illuvium Zero into the mix, then it's just going to add on to those points. So, yeah, if you're just playing Illuvium Zero, probably not going to get a whole lot from the airdrop. But technically, there is points that you'll be getting. Yeah, so this is my other tier 1, my Abyssal Basin. I kind of like how this one looks too, like the deep green grass. But I've been neglecting these tier 1s. Like I said, my big focus was my tier 3. That's to a really good place now where I don't need to check it too often anymore. So that's why I started really focusing on the tier 2 really today is when I started really putting in the effort for the tier 2. And once I get that up to speed and that to a good place, then I'll start breaking more into these tier 1s. But the efficiency is just, it's not here yet. On this one, if I show you, my one fuel site is 150, but I need to work on everything else. All right, so the plot of the day. All right, so let's just wrap this one up. So this is my tier 2 plot. I still have room for more power stations, so I'm pretty confident all of these that are not quite there yet, like that 146 will get up to the 150. That will get up to the 150. Kind of need to throw more around here for that to get up to the 150. But I'm going to be pretty happy with the efficiency here. I'm going to have 2 Solon converters, 2 Krypton converters, 2 Hyperion converters, and I'm sure I'm going to add one more Solon or Hyperion converter up here. And then we'll see. I mean, that might be it, at least for now. And when I start doing some scanning, I'll throw it in this top area, maybe a scanner or 2 down here. But yeah, pretty happy about that one. That was quite a long stream, an hour and 43 minutes, but I'm going to call it quits right now. So thanks for watching. Use my creator code if you found this helpful at all. Nijafe, Nijafe. And, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, subscribe. I'm going to be putting out more content. Out of all of Illuvium, I'm going to cover all parts of it. All the games, news, economy stuff. But I'm really enjoying Illuvium Zero, so that's going to be like a good focus I have, I guess. I'm never going to be one of the best overworld players or arena or gauntlet players, but I think I could be pretty good at this Illuvium Zero thing. So I like it. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Later.